and welcome to the Clean Boats, Clean Waters Grantee Training Program. My name is Paige Felice, and I help coordinate a variety of aquatic invasive species outreach programs for MSU Extension. Today, I'm going to be discussing our Clean Boats, Clean Waters grant program. My colleague, Kelsey Bockelman, is the Clean Boats, Clean Waters program coordinator. During this presentation, I will be going over a variety of topics related to aquatic invasive species, including the Clean Boats, Clean Waters program, best practices to reach boaters, and we'll end with a few grant reminders. As you know, Michigan is home to a lot of water, including 11,000 inland lakes, over 50,000 miles of rivers, and of course, the Great Lakes coastline. And with all that water comes a lot of boats. We have over 900,000 registered boaters, 650,000 paddle sport vessels, so kayaks, canoes, and of course, we have a lot of boating access sites, over 1,300, and 80 public harbors and marinas. However, unfortunately, aquatic invasive species are commonly introduced and spread to new water bodies from boats and trailers. Most aquatic plants reproduce via fragmentation, meaning it only takes a very small piece of the plant to reroot in a new area. The key to invasive species management is prevention. I'm sure you are all familiar with this graph showing time on the bottom and management costs along the right. Our Clean Boats, Clean Waters work focuses on prevention, preventing new invasive species introductions. It's the cheapest way to manage invasive species and arguably the most effective. And the good news is that preventing new invasions from boating is easy. Research has shown cleaning, draining, and drying boats and equipment significantly reduces invasive species spread. And better news, surveys of Michigan boaters have found that they are concerned about invasive species, and they believe that their actions can make a difference. However, they have some confusion regarding regulations. And this is likely because regulations vary by state. And unlike some states, for example, Michigan does not have a statewide boater inspection program. So we rely on signage at boat launches and volunteers such as you to inform boaters. Now I'm going to talk a bit more about Michigan regulations. In 2019, new requirements were put in place to stop the introduction and spread of aquatic invasive species. Your job as a Clean Boats, Clean Waters volunteer and grantee is not to enforce the regulation. However, it is helpful to know what is required by law if you get asked questions by boaters. Boaters should not launch or transport watercraft or trailers unless they are free of aquatic organisms, including plants. Boaters should not transport a watercraft without removing all drain plugs and draining all water from bilges, ballast tanks, and live wells. And lastly, boaters should not release unused bait into the water. Violation of the law is a state civil infraction, and violators may be subject to fines. In addition to regulations, our outreach materials and statewide messaging stresses the importance of clean, drain, dry, and dispose. Note, this language has been vetted through communications departments with the state and is the same language that appears on the boater rec card. A shorter, more concise version appears on the boat launch signs. Our guidance is as follows. Clean. Clean boats, trailers, and equipment and remove all mud, debris, and aquatic plants from trailers and watercraft. Boaters should use a hose or power washer when available. Drain. Drain live wells, bilges, ballast tanks, and all water from boats before leaving an access site. Consider disinfecting live wells and bilges with a bleach solution, such as a half cup bleach to 5 gallons of water when possible. Dry. Dry all boats and equipment thoroughly before leaving an access area and prior to relaunching in a new water body. And finally, boaters should dispose of bait in the trash that is unused. Never release bait into the water. There are a variety of activities on the statewide level to increase boater awareness of regulations and the clean, drain, dry, dispose messaging. Some of these activities include billboards on major highways, boat launch stencils, boater rock cards and aluminum launch signs. The rock cards and launch signs are available for free while supplies last from Eagle. Eagle also coordinates a week-long invasive species landing blitz in Michigan, alongside other Great Lakes states. This usually takes place in June or July. And lastly, there are a variety of monitoring efforts taking place to identify aquatic invasive plants. One is the Michigan Clean Water Corps Exotic Aquatic Plant Watch. This program trains volunteers to identify, report invasive aquatic plants. And with all of these statewide and local efforts to engage boaters, there's significant importance for all of us to be sharing the same messaging regarding both regulations and recommended practices. We highly encourage you to use the existing clean, drain, dry, dispose messaging that can be found on the rock card or the boat launch sign. In your outreach materials, you may also consider using recognizable national aquatic invasive species campaigns, such as the Stop Aquatic Hitchhikers program. You likely recognize that as a stop sign with a boat as seen in the lower left-hand corner. And Wildlife Forever's Clean, Drain, Dry initiative. Both programs have websites with a variety of resources available for free that you may find helpful in your outreach endeavors. It is helpful to know how boaters are staying informed of regulations and the boat cleaning practices to ensure we are meeting them where they are. Surveys show boaters rely on multiple sources of information, including signage at access sites, regulation booklets, television programs, magazine and newspaper articles, boater safety classes, and social media for invasive species information. Another way we are reaching boaters in Michigan is through the Clean Boats, Clean Waters program. This program was originally created in 2006 with a focus on volunteer boat inspectors. It has since grown into a multifaceted boater outreach program. The program is currently jointly coordinated between MSU Extension and Eagle. The goal of Clean Boats, Clean Waters is to build a unified understanding of aquatic invasive species and the recreational boating pathway through best practices and with partnerships with organizations such as yours. Clean Boats, Clean Waters includes an online resource library, a mobile boat wash program, formerly known as the MSU Mobile Boat Wash, which you may be familiar with, communications assistance, boater engagement training, and social media. Our online resources library highlights Michigan aquatic invasive species materials that are available through MSU Extension and state agencies. I would encourage you to take a peek. We are always looking for ways to improve this library. So if you are aware of a resource we don't currently share on our website, please don't hesitate to reach out. Clean Boats, Clean Waters has also combined forces with the MSU Mobile Boat Wash. The Mobile Boat Wash is a trailer-mounted high-pressure boat cleaning system. It can be reserved from our website and is available for free. It's great at events to raise awareness of boat cleaning, and we provide 2 staff who operate the washer and who can assist with outreach. We also typically have a variety of swag and outreach materials to hand out to boaters, such as rock cards, towels, and koozies. We do ask that local partners assist us at outreach events. The message of Clean, Drain, Dry goes significantly farther when someone from the local community is sharing that information. Clean Boats, Clean Waters is also available to assist interested groups looking to conduct boater outreach and education. We're always available to provide assistance and advice on signage, boat wash installation projects, and publications. So if you know of a group that's interested in doing boater outreach, please share our contact information. On the next few slides, I'm going to go over best practices for engaging boaters at in-person outreach events. Outreach tip number 1, choose your timing wisely. We found that high volume traffic days at boat launches include holidays, weekends, fishing tournaments, and local festivals. Early mornings are great to reach anglers, and afternoons and evenings are when you're going to reach the most recreational boaters, so people like jet skiers and wakeboarders. Outreach step number 2, consider at what point you are going to be greeting boaters. We've had some success approaching boaters before watercraft is actually on the boat ramp. Just realize boaters aren't there to talk to you. They want to get out on the water. Sometimes the best time to reach them is after they are done. At very busy boat launches, consider greeting boaters while they are standing in line for a parking spot. Your approach doesn't have to include an inspection. Simply talking to them and reminding them to clean, drain, dry is helpful. Outreach tip number 3, be friendly. Treat boaters like a guest, not a pest. It's helpful to identify yourself and your organization. Some people do this through a uniform or a name badge. Always be sure to listen to their concerns. They might be different from yours, but a two-way conversation is always better. You should be empowering boaters to do the right thing through both positive reinforcement rather than telling them what they did wrong. Don't overwhelm them with your invasive species knowledge. They don't need to know all the details, just what they should be doing to clean their equipment. And of course, be sure to share any resources you may have that they can take with them for later reading. If you're interested in showing boaters where invasive species may be hitchhiking on their equipment, here are some common areas to look on paddle vessels and on boats. Hitchhikers typically get tangled on trailers, near motors, and in live wells or bilge areas. For paddlers, the most common areas are rudders. Sometimes these boats can also take on quite a bit of water, so remind paddlers to fully dry their equipment inside and out. The most important thing regarding your outreach at boat launches is to not impede traffic flow. So frustrated boaters are not going to want to hear what you have to say. So tie-down areas are highly suitable. There's also typically additional room. So if you have a booth or a table, that's one of the best places to be. And of course, keep your message and your materials short and concise. Research show people only remember 3 to 4 main actions. So think clean, drain, dry, and dispose. And use that consistent messaging. The photo on the right is what is currently on the Eagle aluminum boater signs. And with that, I'd like to go over a few grant reminders. If you are creating new outreach materials with Clean Boats, Clean Waters funding, please submit them to MSU Extension prior to printing. We reserve the right to review materials for up to 14 days. However, it is likely we will review them within 3 to 5 and give you approval for printing. You must receive written permission from boat launch owners or managers prior to starting a Clean Boats, Clean Waters project if you are going to be working at a boat launch. You should recognize the funding source in your promotional materials and include the following statement. This project was funded by the Michigan Clean Boats, Clean Waters program. And finally, MSU Extension and Eagle logos should not be used on materials to represent support. Please just use the Clean Boats, Clean Waters logo. And for grant reporting, we are very interested in knowing about your outreach. This helps us report back to our funding agencies about the important work that you are conducting. Please collect and report on the number of boaters reached, volunteer hours, outreach materials, and locations where your outreach took place. This report is due back to MSU Extension by October 31st, or when you submit your paperwork for reimbursement. Please include photos with your narrative report, and receipts are required for all expenses. And with that, I'd like to remind you to stay connected with the Clean Boats, Clean Waters program. Visit us on our website or check us out on social media on both Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for your hard work, and I look forward to hearing about your outreach over the next boating season.